Like many churches across the country, and indeed in our own Beck and Trent group of parishes, this church here at St Lawrence's in Norrell has a board at the back which shows the vicars who have served here through the centuries. The first vicar recorded on our board here is in 1236, Henry Leggett, although the church may have existed here for at least a couple of hundred years before that. So just think of all the events in history that have happened since this church has been built. The Norman Conquest, the Black Death, the Reformation, the Armada, Battle of Waterloo, the First World War, the Second World War. Of course, for many people today living here in Norrell, this church has also been an important milestone in their own lives. Maybe you were baptised here, or married here, or maybe one of the members of your family was. Maybe you've been here to mourn the loss of a loved one. Of course, this will be true for all the churches across our group of parishes. In Cornton, in Cromwell, in Ossington, in Carlton, and in Sutton. Each of our churches has their own history. Each of our churches have supported people through the events of history in different ways. And now here we are in our own extraordinary time as we have the battle against COVID-19. Where do we look for help in these troubling times? Of course, we will quite rightly be looking in all sorts of different places. We look in many ways, first of all, to our National Health Service, to the brave women and men who are serving in extraordinary times. To those of you who are watching this video, I want to say thank you, especially to those who live and serve in our communities here. We also look to our government. Sometimes it's hard to know where to start to pray in times like this. But Paul tells us in 1 Timothy to pray first of all for our government. So I urge you to pray for our Prime Minister, for his advisers, his cabinet, for our MP and all in Parliament. It's not about our political views or affiliation. It's about supporting those who have extraordinarily difficult decisions to make. Of course, we will primarily look through this time to our families, our friends and our neighbours, those who are round about us in our villages. You may have heard about something that's being set up called the Buddy Scheme. It's been great to be involved in helping to advise and support this work as it goes forward. We're not actually doing it from the church directly, but we are helping within the network that has come together. It's really important, I think, to say that this is in no way intended to replace the good neighbourliness that I think will be the main way we travel together and support each other through this time. But it's there as a safety net to help us to make sure that no one in our communities is left unsupported. In fact, the more good neighbourliness we can do, the less the Buddy Scheme and its volunteers will have to take care of. So please, let's look out for one another around us. Safely, of course. But if you'd like to know more about the Buddy Scheme, you can send an email to the address that's at the bottom of the screen. But above all, I'd want to say that we can look to help from God, from the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who came among us to walk with us, who died for us and rose again. As I've been reflecting on that this week, I've been reminded of the words of Psalm 121, and I'd like to read them for you now. I lift my eyes up to the hills. From where will my help come? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. He who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time on and forevermore. This psalm was written probably around 3,000 years ago and truly has stood the test of time. I want to join with the psalmist and say, where will we look for help? We will look to the Lord. This is not to be naive and think that somehow this gives us a sort of invincibility cloak around us. Yet in all the places where we rightly look for help, we too, as generations have done before us, here in our villages, here in this church, here in the churches in our community, we can say, where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. May God bless you through this time.